Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Color X Malice. Along Kei Okazaki's route, we're investigating the November incident with the car crash. Although we're talking to Mochida for the moment, but we'll be seeing Okazaki about this soon enough. He's gonna come with us. So you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Right. I wanted to ask you something. Do you know what happened to the crime scene of the November X Day case? What do you mean what happened to it? It's still there. It's not like they removed the intersection.
The investigators went over it carefully at the time, and now it's open to traffic again.
Right. I won't learn anything if I look there now.
You seem a little out of it lately.
Huh?
Something's been troubling you for a while, right? You've been looking glum lately. I'm worried.
Well, you know, if I don't do something soon, I'll be dead in a couple days.
It feels like something serious. Maybe something that's backed you into a corner.
Sorry for making you worry.
Besides, Hoshino, you're investigating something, aren't you?
Huh?
No, don't panic. I wasn't trying to scold you. I've been so curious about the investigation that I haven't been able to relax either.
Oh.
SRCPO doesn't ever get to hear the details. Honestly, we're just a complaint hotline, but how can we really make the public feel safe if we have no idea how close the police are getting to closing this thing out? I haven't broken any regulations, but I've been doing some digging on my own.
Oh, anything that can help me? Come to think of it, Mochida has always said that he wanted to join the X-Day investigation.
I don't know exactly what you're up to, but SRCPO was set up in direct response to the X-Day crimes. It exists to keep the peace in Shinjuku. As long as you remember that, don't sweat the details, and do what you need to do.
Mochida.
You have urgent business, don't you? I'll cover for you. Now go on, get out of here.
You little whippersnapper. Thank you, sir. Bolstered by Mochida's encouraging words, I darted off. Even in its current state, the section of Shinjuku was really busy. Of course it was less active than it had been, but people here came and went without fear. Everywhere you looked, there were men in edgy outfits and scantily clad young women. I think there's always a segment of people who thrive in these conditions. You may be right. People lived in the shadows of every society. For them, times like these were normal, and they were probably better adjusted to it. I can understand them a little. If you're someone who feels at home in a fight, or someone who must always be vigilant, living a peaceful, normal life is actually a pretty difficult proposition. I see. Because Okazaki's an SP. Perhaps these people and Okazaki were actually somewhat alike. So you have that same level of awareness active because the SP are always in the line of danger? Until a few years ago. A few years ago? My job now is incredibly peaceful. Yanagi's team doesn't actually need protection. Oh, that's true, so... Does Okazaki feel that a lack of danger is more difficult for him? It's not like I think this is bad. He shook his head and smiled, as if he read my mind. Having fun with you like this morning, hanging out with Yoshinori, and being treated like a nuisance by Inaki and his friends. So he's aware he's a nuisance. I think that life like this is pretty nice. That's why I have to protect it. That's good then. Before his current mission, he must have regularly faced danger. I was happy to hear that Okazaki felt some relief from his current life. So, there are people who can live in peace, even while Shinjuku is like this, huh? The world was a blend of overt and hidden aspects. In times where people rejoiced, others wept. One man's justice could be another man's evil. This was a keen reminder of that juxtaposition. That's why you won't be used to the place we're going. Don't let your guard down. Okay. I was used to petty crime, but we were heading into the depths of Kabukicho, which was normally under the purview of the Organized Crime Division. Numerous gangs operated out of this area of the city. In other words, Most of the people here didn't exactly run legal enterprises. I hope we can learn some useful leads. 203 turned out to be innocent. Yeah. Okay, so we already checked 2 people? Before coming here, I tried to meet with 2 of Todoroki's former subordinates. But one had been hospitalized ever since he left the police 5 years ago. He had developed such severe mental illness that he had to be confined to an asylum. Oh man, he messed him up pretty bad. He hadn't left the hospital ever since, so I ruled him out as a suspect. The other one had moved abroad immediately after quitting his job. He never returned to Japan. And the last one... I tried visiting his home, but... It looks like he lives here now. Yes, I hope he's here. Heisuke Sanjo, 29 years old. Oh, I can already tell just by that picture. You can see the edge of the hair. You know that's the guy with the scars. When he was on active duty, he served under Todoroki as a motorcycle cop in the traffic ops. There was nothing special in his file. It just said he quit for personal reasons. Looking at his photograph in the file, all I saw was a serious-looking young man. Wow, why does he look so much older now? But he could probably tell me something about Todoroki. Even if it wasn't concrete, I wanted to see him. Praying that this would give me a lead, I rang Sanjo's bell. He must be out. There was no response after ringing several times. Probably. Maybe nobody actually lives here. Huh? How do you know? It doesn't smell like it. You can tell from the outside?
Are you 2 cops? And nobody lives in that place.
Thanks for the confirmation. A neighbor came out to look at us annoyed. Maybe the doorbell had disturbed him. Do you know the name of the former resident?
Huh? What was it again? Tanaka or Suzuki or something?
There should have been a Mr. Sanjo living here 5 years ago. Did you know him?
Nope. People don't get too friendly around here.
When I tried to ask another question, he just shut the door. If he moved, then there could be a record of his new residence. Maybe we should go back and look for it. I doubt he would have bothered to let anyone know. Because he might have some involvement with the crimes? It's just a possibility. Besides, it'll take time to go back. Wouldn't it be faster to ask someone to do it for you? That's right. I feel guilty for doing it, but I guess I can ask Mochida. Couldn't I call Sasazaka instead? I mean, he wouldn't be happy about it, but we could probably get him to do it. Let's ask around to see if anyone else here knew him. Okay, let's split up then. You really want to do that? Okazaki and I headed in opposite directions to question the neighbors. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to learn anything helpful. There doesn't seem to be anyone here who associated with him. Besides, it was 5 years ago. They've probably forgotten everything by now. Ichika. When I turned back, Okazaki was walking toward me, phone in hand. I found something. Huh? Really? They work fast. These guys really are nice people, helping us out so much with everything. Huh? I'm just talking to myself. Okazaki said something while looking at his phone. I tilted my head curiously. He did call Sasazaka, didn't he? It looks like this Sanjo is still in Shinjuku. This address. It's near Kabukicho. I was surprised that he'd managed to track down Sanjo after questioning people briefly. Maybe Okazaki was talented in other areas that didn't require physical skills. Musing about this, I also grew hopeful that we might finally get a lead that would provide us some useful information. I didn't find anything on my end. If you think this info is credible, then let's go. We're not going to talk about it. I bet Sasazaka will mention it when we see them next. I think it's here. Hey, this is the building where, Enomoto's mentor died. In the vague area Okazaki learned Sanjo was in, we talked to people to narrow down his location. We eventually arrived at an old tenement that was so run down one would assume it was abandoned. According to the information Mochida sent me, Mr. Sanjo was a transient. That figures. There's a lot of people like that around here. The people we've been talking with have been looking increasingly sketchy. Yeah, it gets especially dangerous around here. While Okazaki murmured, his eyes narrowed. I'll check things out first. Hang back a little. All right. I think we should stick close. Okazaki approached the entrance to try and look inside.
Oh, are you two cops?
A man with a shifty appearance called out to us.
Never seen you before. What are you doing here? These parts are pretty rough. This ain't a safe place for a pretty face like you.
Are you talking to me or Okazaki? He didn't look like the respectable sort, but he acknowledged us as police and smiled confidently as he spoke to us. Division 4 dealt with people like him, so he probably didn't think much of unfamiliar officers. Does Mr. Keisuke Sanjo live here? But Okazaki calmly questioned the man without skipping a beat.
What? Dunno.
That's strange. Our information was solid.
Oh? And where'd you hear that from? Maybe someone was yanking your chain.
This building is supposed to be abandoned. You won't mind if we enter, will you?
Huh? Little lady, haven't you ever heard of unspoken agreements?
The man's expression tensed slightly. I could sense an implied threat in his words. I took a deep breath and answered firmly. I couldn't afford to let him think we were weak. It's none of my concern. We're here on police business to question Mr. Sanjo. Ichika, you shouldn't provoke him.
Huh, youth! Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. Look, just get out of here.
Hey, wait! The man casually reached for my shoulder. Okazaki instantly knocked his hand aside and stepped between us. That's right, don't touch his lady.
Hey, punk. Even I'll lose my patience if you don't scram. You understand? What's the commotion?
A low voice broke the tension.
Sorry.
Hello, Sanjo. Huh? I caught my breath when another man stepped out. His face matched the photo in the database. Without a doubt, he was Keisuke Sanjo. But, although their features were the same, he gave off a totally different vibe than the photo. In the photo, he had seemed like a serious young man, but the person in front of me now looked downright unscrupulous. Keisuke Sanjo bio added to materials.
These two don't seem to take the hint. Over-enthusiastic young cops. Oh?
Sanjo slowly approached us, and then he made eye contact with Okazaki and I. He seemed genuinely surprised.
You're...
Huh? You two know each other?
I see.
Now he was cheerful for some reason.
You got an awful lot of spunk coming here in person.
Huh? What? He had murmured too quietly for me to be certain that I heard him correctly. He merely smiled at us in return, looking just as confident as the other man.
Hey, you can go back. I'll talk to them. What? Just leave them. They're not worth your... I said go.
When Sanjo lowered his tone, the man panicked and went inside the building. I can't falter. When I glanced at Okazaki, he nodded. This was my job now. I'm Ichika Hoshino from Shinjuku PD. I'd like to ask you some questions about the X-Day murder in November. Sanjo's amused expression didn't fade. He folded his arms and watched me. I was a little curious why he was looking at me that way, but I persisted. One of the victims in the incident was Masayoshi Todoroki. 5 years ago, you worked under him. What was he like?
You want to know what kind of person he was? What do you think, girl?
He cockily deflected my question with one of his own. What I think he was like? I don't know, I never met the guy. Based on the information I'd obtained, the victim Todoroki was... a dick? But that's not a choice, so strict? I heard he was strict. He was passionate about his work, but very tough on his subordinates, and sometimes went too far in demonstrating his leadership. However, he was trusted by leadership, and I've heard that he was very accomplished. Sanjo listened to me and laughed at me derisively.
Huh. Accomplished. Yeah, that's right. He earned a lot of medals. Mostly. No, he got all the credit. Even though he didn't do the work. Huh.
Sanjo went quiet for a moment, watching me intently with serious eyes.
He was a scumbag. He definitely deserved to die. I bet a lot of people were happy to see him go.
For an instant, I saw a flash of hatred appear in Sanjo's eyes. He looked like he was ready to kill someone right now, and I involuntarily took half a step back. No, Ichika, you showed weakness. Are you sure you want to admit that you have a grudge against him?
I'm not a liar. Besides, that's what you're here for, isn't it? You're wondering if I killed him out of revenge.
You're an ex-cop, so you should know admitting a motive would connect you to this case.
Of course I know. On the other hand, the police are so corrupt that they just create a motive if I didn't have one.
Do you resent the police?
Pretty much. No, that's all in the past. I used to.
The past? What does that mean?
I think it's disgusting that the corrupt police act as if they own the place.
Animosity toward the police, a motive for the crime, and your housing. That's 3 strikes.
You got me.
That face. I could tell that Okazaki was as confused as I, that Sanjo wasn't bothering to hide what he thought at all. Sanjo was angry that he was under suspicion, yet he freely acknowledged his grudge. I found that confidence frightening.
If you're here, that means you must have looked up the other 2. Have you met them yet?
He meant Todoroki's other 2 subordinates, who had quit at the same time. I tried to speak with them before I came here, but it wasn't possible.
Or are they dead?
No, one is hospitalized, and the other moved overseas.
I see. So they can't come back either.
What does that mean?
They lost their dignity as human beings. Their emotions have probably gone ice cold, just like mine. You can figure it out. It was a messed up environment.
The intimidating aura I felt when I first saw him wasn't just from his imposing physical appearance. His gloomy eyes were filled with quiet rage. They were devoid of faith in the world. Anyone who would talk to him would be able to see that.
Every day was hell. I didn't have a single thought about pretty ideas like hope or the future. It wasn't just to do with Todoroki. You 2 have stepped into the same hole.
What?
I'm talking about the entire police organization. They toy with lies for their own self-gain. They spit on people's hard work and take it as their own, claiming it's all for grand ideals. Even a victim's life is just a stepping stone to elevate their careers, or a chance for them to satisfy their greed for the spotlight. They're nothing but trash. They claim to be servants of the law, but any crimes committed by officers are swept under the rug, or even spun to the public as heroic tales. They're not fit to say the word justice.
Damn, he is really angry. You see the vein on his forehead. I had no response to those words. He must have seen much of the dark side of the police force before he quit. It was the darkness that the ex-day crime in April had sought to expose.
As long as you're in the police, you'll never be able to champion justice.
Oh? Okazaki suddenly reacted, after having stayed silent the entire time. We just met. Why would you assume that about us? You're talking about something very particular. You wouldn't speak that way unless you knew our... No, unless you knew her problem.
You're sharper than you look.
I just can't let things go once I notice them.
And a persistent one too. I especially dislike your type.
Good. I don't care to have the affection of someone who's affiliated with Adonis. Sanjo answered Okazaki's interjection with a bold grin. Aren't you going to deny it? I cautiously approached him. He was hostile toward the police, had motive for the crime, and he even knew about my situation. The suspicion was only piling up, yet Sanjo just kept on smiling.
Hey girl, wanna have a contest?
Huh? He sprung an unexpected question on me. I blurted out a confused noise in response.
You want to know more about X Day, right? I'll tell you whatever I can.
Really?
Yeah, but only if you beat me.
Beat you at what? Okazaki was tense with caution. I kept my eyes fixed on Sanjo, not knowing what he was up to.
Tomorrow evening, on December 22nd, an active cop is going to die.
Huh?
If you can stop that from happening, I'll talk.
Mr. Sanjo, no, Keisuke Sanjo, what exactly do you know?
I'll tell you once you win.
Don't evade the question. How do you know about my...
Why don't you try reporting me and arresting me before tomorrow comes? At best, all you can do is detain me as a witness.
It was true that we currently had no evidence that definitively tied Sanjo to the murder. He could just claim that his earlier confession was a joke or misunderstanding, or even a lie. I mean, that we were lying about his confession. We also couldn't arrest Sanjo for his threat unless he actually caused the future incident.
Of course, you could just slap some made-up charge on me and arrest me for something else. I don't mind.
I bit my lip as he sneered. Are you asking us to arrest you? There's no point in just bringing him in. He's taunting us because he knows that. You can come with us for voluntary questioning, though it won't help us solve the case.
So you do understand. The truth is buried deep in the darkness anyway. I won't snitch, and you won't solve anything by only capturing me. That's the painful truth, you know.
His words reminded me of what Rika Sugawara had said. Sanjo was right. If he was to be believed, then there was a good possibility that Todoroki had committed some kind of crime. This could be my opportunity to uncover the truth. And anyway, arresting him here wouldn't lead us to Adonis. But I still couldn't just ignore someone who had claimed that a murder was going to happen. What should I do? I will accept his offer, although I should say challenge rather than offer. But do I get a hint? Understood. I'll take you up on that offer. That was my answer after some consideration.
You're a smart one, so you weren't just a pretty face.
I should make the safest choice to deal with the threat in front of me right now. If Sanjo was one of the criminals and his declaration came to pass, it would be disastrous. But capturing him here would be unlikely to stop the countdown to X Day.
Honestly, I expected you to go by the book and say you had to focus on the evil in front of you.
The countdown won't stop even if we take you in and convict you right now. Right now, the city was facing an emergency. If the countdown wasn't stopped, it would likely lead to massive casualties. I struggled with the choice, but Okazaki clapped me on the back. I think that's the right call too. This isn't the time to fixate on the short term. You have to protect this town, the people in it, and their future. Now is no time to be reacting emotionally. Yeah. I nodded firmly. You'll be fine. I'm with you. His words filled me with even more resolve and strength. If Sanjo is related to Adonis, he won't kill people indiscriminately. Adonis carried out carefully planned attacks that had purposeful motives. I hadn't researched every case, but I didn't think they were targeting unrelated people.
We have a deal then. Good luck.
Starting in December, Adonis pulled off a string of murders. But was tomorrow night planned in advance, with you as a pawn to be captured.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I thought so. Your target was selected for you long ago.
I said pretty much. You don't listen to people when they talk.
And earlier, you mentioned a police officer. You don't think much of us. And you'll be the perpetrator targeting that officer for a specific reason.
Looks like I gave you too many hints.
So, what is your intention of giving us this chance now? He stated the victim would be a police officer. I still didn't understand what he had to gain by presenting me with this challenge. Fun? Or no, I think it's mostly just that he doesn't really feel like he owes Adonis anything. I think he's being a little bit resentful for this thing being forced into this part.
We'll pick this up again tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Sanjo turned and started walking away. I hadn't expected him to answer. Wait, we're not done.
Say anything stupid and you might never see me again.
With that parting note, Sanjo went back inside the building. The target is an active police officer. While we were on the way back to the station, Okazaki murmured, "The target is likely someone who committed some misdeed in the past. That could be anyone." Yeah, why did Sanjo offer us that contest? I was curious about that too. If Sanjo is a member of Adonis, what if he's in some kind of danger? That's probably true, but I think that he knew about both of us, and he also knew about your collar. Yes. The person behind the collar had probably heard the entire conversation. What if Sanjo, as one of Adonis's pawns, would be punished for trying to act on his own ahead of schedule? His memories erased just like Rika Sugawara's. It was definitely a pretty risky maneuver for Sanjo. The person who put that collar on you wanted you to solve the cases. So maybe this is the terrorist's way of testing you. Testing me? I felt both anxious and angry. It was like they were toying with me. Well, you are a test subject. But I couldn't let myself be controlled by such feelings. Now that we had been given this chance, I had to do whatever it took to prevent the attack. By the way, shouldn't you be getting some rest? Huh? It's already pretty late at night. Don't you want to head home? I think I'd just stay up late worrying if I went home. I'll be fine. Okazaki told me to get some rest, and that we'd start gathering information some tomorrow morning. But I couldn't stay still, so I would continue research until I returned to the station. I should look for any police officers who might have a grudge held against them. I had to look for whatever I could find. The time limit was drawing closer. I thanked Okazaki as usual once we were in front of the police station. Let's meet up tomorrow morning. Alright. I couldn't do my normal work tomorrow, so I needed to ask Mochida for time off. I'm sorry, I can't tell him the whole story. If I made the wrong move and Adonis thought I wasn't cooperating, there'd surely be victims. Will you really be okay? Okazaki still looked worried. Every day he told me not to push myself too hard, but I couldn't obey that advice today. Yeah, seriously, I gotta push myself some or I'm gonna die. If X Day comes around and I don't solve this. It's okay, I'm tough. Hup. Okazaki chuckled when I did an impression of the text he sent me before. Ah, you're copying me. That's not nice. Oh, you noticed? Of course, but it was adorable, so I forgive you. Oh. I thought your text was cuter. For a while we laughed together, and his gaze softened. But I really want you to rest. You need to be able to go when it's crunch time. Promise me? Alright, I promise. If you go down, I'll have no reason left to live, you know? You're exaggerating. When he talked like this, it always made my heartbeat quicken, but I knew he was trying to help me, and that warmed my heart. I wasn't exaggerating. Make sure you get plenty of rest too. We did a lot of walking today. Oh, she just totally ignored that. She just blew right past it. He was being romantic and you just trampled all over his feelings, Ichika. I'll be counting on you again tomorrow. Thank you. Really? You'll count on me? Of course. I'm glad. It makes me really happy to have you rely on me. Okazaki grabbed me by the hands and swung them back and forth like a child. I'd held those large hands many times, but it still made my heart race. Text me if anything happens. If it's in the middle of the night, it's still okay. Like, if you want my opinion on your research. Thank you. His smile was so innocent. I laughed with him, still holding his hands. And make sure you get something to eat. Okay. All right, Mom. Also, make sure you get enough sleep. How many times are you going to say that? Yes, I know. Okazaki, if you don't mind. People were going to notice. Okazaki sadly let go. Let me see. What else? Make sure I get enough sleep? I'll be okay. Goodness, you're so overprotective lately. I can't help it. Even if you don't like it, I worry about you. It's not that I don't like it. Oh, but now you lose more sleep if I keep you any longer. I want to stay by your side at all times, but I guess I can't. I suppose not. I was also reluctant to part ways, but why did he let that slip? It made me a little lonely to think that I was the only one who realized it. What? Don't be dense, Ichika. I'll be heading inside then. Okay, good luck and see you tomorrow. I left Okazaki and returned to the station. And now on Okazaki's part? Alright, I should contact them. Thanks for the help today, Takeru. She got there with your help. I appreciate it. I knew it! Why couldn't you at least give the guy credit?
Any progress?
Keisuke Sanjo is with Adonis. That's almost guaranteed.
Do you have any evidence? Don't tell me he confessed.
Nope, but he announced the target that'll die tomorrow.
What? He told you that? Right there? Why?
He challenged her and said he'd turn himself in if she stopped the attack.
I don't get it. So, place and target?
Target's an active police officer. That's the only hint he gave. She's looking for an officer who someone might have a grudge against. Can you lend a hand here?
Real slave driver, aren't you?
I'll buy donuts.
Don't want them.
They're not for you.
Bring at least 10 for me. I don't share.
Yes, sir.
Don't take the bait. Those emoji are so annoying. Enough. Okazaki, we have new intel too.
What is it?
We got some top secret files on the PM assassination attempt 2 years ago.
Thanks. Can I come pick them up?
Be here in 5 minutes.
Takeru's so impatient. Now that Yanagi's given the go-ahead, it'll be easier for me to act. 2 years ago. If only I died. No, but then you wouldn't be here for me. There's no point in dwelling on the past. But I don't want to fail this time. I never want to feel that way again. What I have to do, my role, my wish. I know you'll grant it. Ichika. Do not die for me. I swear to God, Kei. December 22nd, 7 a.m. Phew. The next morning I yawned and stretched in front of my monitor. I'd taken a nap as I'd been ordered to, and then thrown myself headlong into research on my workstation. Morning, Ichika. Good morning, Okazaki. Sleep well last night? Yes, in the nap room. How many hours? About 3 hours? That's no good. You need a minimum of 4, or fatigue will wear you down. Oh, come on, we can power nap. I checked the time. We promised to meet up in the morning, but there was still plenty of time before our meetup. Did you get enough sleep, Okazaki? Yeah, I did. How many hours? About 3, I think. You bastard. Then you weren't one to talk? Well, I get high quality sleep. I used some of my super special sleeping products last night. Through the course of our conversation, I became fully awake. Anyway, can we talk about what I managed to dig up last night? When I changed the subject, Okazaki's expression changed and he nodded. Of course, let's hear it. There were many police scandals that had arisen in the past 5 years. Sanjo implied that Todoroki had committed some misdeed in the past that was public knowledge, and Sanjo had held animosity over that misdeed against him. That meant the next target was very likely to be an officer that also had been involved in some past scandal. I found dozens of incidents. I think if I go back further, I'll keep finding more. But I didn't know how to limit my search. There was no end to them. I considered preventing all the officers that I considered at risk of being targeted from leaving the building. But I don't have the authority to do that, and I wouldn't be able to explain my reasons to Investigations HQ anyway. So it feels like I'm just losing sight of how I needed to go about this. I thought that discussing my findings could help me refocus, but I was getting more annoyed. Don't stress out. Let's just do what we can. He patted me on the head, calming my nerves the way he always did. Let me think. Why don't we go to Shiraishi with what you found so far? Good idea. Definitely a good resource. And in fact, we'll hear what he has to say in the next episode. That was definitely a really good idea. So, I'm going to go ahead right into that because it's late at night and I want to record that before my voice gives out. So, hope to see you there or in some of my other videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.